The last wisps of sunlight disappeared beyond the horizon. Captain Orion Blackwood stood on the creaking deck of his beloved airship, Maelstrom's Fury yacht. The fog-shrouded streets of London were a blur below him as he gazed out at the endless expanse of misty sky. Tonight was going to be different. Tonight, the crew would test their latest invention. A steam-powered engine capable of propelling the ship through even the densest fogs. Orion's eyes shone with an unholy light as he beheld the contraption. Copper pipes snaked across the deck like a madman's drawing, pulsing with a sickly green glow. The hiss of hissing steam and the whirring of gears were like music to his ears. Tonight, we shall conquer the very fabric of reality, Orion exclaimed, his voice carrying across the deck as he addressed his crew of seasoned aeronauts and engineers. His crew exchanged skeptical glances. Some had been with him since the early days of airship design. Others were newer recruits, still awed by the captain's genius. Together, they shared a bond forged in blood, sweat, and the thrill of adventure. As the countdown began, Orion's excitement reached fever pitch. The crews scrambled to their stations, each one responsible for a crucial aspect of the engine's operation. Engineer Rachel Chen worked feverishly at the control console, her fingers dancing across the dials as she coaxed more power from the steam engine. Meanwhile, Bosun Thomas Grimbold checked the rigging, his eyes scanning the complex network of wires and pulleys that held the ship aloft. The air was electric with anticipation when Orion gave the final command, "Engage." A deafening roar shook the deck as the steam engine roared to life, sending bursts of green-tinted smoke into the fog. The Maelstrom's Fury lurched forward, her propellers whirring in a blur of motion. As they pierced the veil of fog, the crew held their breaths. For an instant, nothing seemed out of place. Then the sky around them began to distort and writhe like a living thing. The ship trembled as if on the verge of collapse, but Orion's determination kept her aloft. Below, the fog swirled in maddening patterns, twisting into impossible shapes that defied understanding. It was as if some unseen force had ripped apart the very fabric of reality itself. Orion felt his grip on sanity begin to slip as he watched the chaos unfold below. His eyes burned with an otherworldly energy, and his voice rose in a madman's chant. "We shall see the truth. We shall see the secrets hidden beyond the veil." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. They had seen their captain pushed to the edge before, but this was different. As the Maelstrom's Fury plunged deeper into the heart of the Maelstrom, Rachel screamed out a warning. "Captain, I'm losing control. The engines, it's..." Orion's response sent shivers down her spine. "Give me more power, Rachel. We must see the truth." With a sickening jolt, the ship lurching forward in a burst of steam and light. When the vision faded, the crew found themselves plummeting toward the fog-shrouded streets below. The Maelstrom's Fury crash-landed on a deserted dock, her hull buckling beneath the force of impact. As the survivors stumbled out into the chill night air, they beheld a scene from their worst nightmares. Their ship lay in ruins, its deck torn asunder by some unseen hand. But it was what surrounded them that sent horror crawling up their spines. Buildings twisted and distorted beyond recognition, their windows like gaping mouths screaming silently into the darkness. Orion stood amidst the wreckage, his eyes blazing with a madness that bordered on elation. He reached out to touch the twisted metal of the ship's hull, as if communing with some dark power. "My dear friends," he whispered, "we have seen the truth, and I fear it shall haunt us for eternity." As the crew exchanged terrified glances, they knew their captain had crossed a threshold into the very depths of madness itself. The Maelstrom's Fury was doomed to become a haunted vessel, forever bound to the realm of eldritch horrors that lurked beyond the veil. In that moment, They realized that some secrets were better left unspoken. As the crew of the Maelstrom's Fury stumbled through the wreckage, trying to make sense of the chaos around them, a chill wind began to pick up, carrying with it whispers of unspeakable horrors. Orion's madness had awakened something primal and ancient, something that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. The airship's crew knew they had to get as far away from their captain as possible, but it was too late. The fog closed in around them like a shroud, obscuring all sight of the world outside. In its place, visions began to dance before their minds' eyes. Grotesque abominations born from twisted brass and hissing steam. Eerie silhouettes that watched with cold, dead eyes. And whispers that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Stay close together," Rachel whispered to the others as they huddled together in terror. "We have to find a way out of here before it's too late." But it was already too late. As one, the crew turned to face Orion, who stood at the center of their little group, his eyes aglow with an otherworldly energy. "Welcome to my world," he said, his voice dripping with malevolent glee. "A world where reality is a mere suggestion." With those words, the fog seemed to coalesce into a living entity that reached out to ensnare them all. The crew stumbled forward, transfixed by some unseen force as they were drawn deeper and deeper into the heart of madness. Only one thing was certain. They would never escape the Maelstrom's Fury alive. As the fog closed in around them like a living shroud, Thomas Grimbold found himself alone, lost in the labyrinthine corridors of the doomed airship. He stumbled through the darkness, desperate to find his way back to the others. But with each step, he felt the presence closing in around him. An unseen force that watched and waited, its presence growing stronger with every passing moment. Thomas knew then that he was doomed. The Maelstrom's Fury had become a portal to some eldritch realm from which there was no return. As he turned a corner into a dark passageway, the sound of his own screams echoed back at him from within the fog. And when the mist finally cleared, Thomas found himself face to face with a being that defied all comprehension. A creature born from twisted brass and steam, eyes glowing like lanterns in the darkness, skin stretched taut over its body as if it were a mere puppet of some sinister force. Thomas's scream was lost in the howling wind as he realized his fate, to become a plaything for this eldritch abomination, forever trapped within the twisted world of madness that Orion had unleashed upon them all. Epilogue. The fog rolled back into London like a malignant tide, carrying with it whispers of unspeakable horrors. As the city's inhabitants stumbled through their daily routines, they couldn't help but feel a creeping sense of dread. For in the depths of that swirling mist, something ancient and malevolent stirred. An eldritch horror born from the darkest recesses of the Maelstrom's Fury. As it grew stronger with each passing moment, its presence began to seep into their minds like a cold, dark poison. They knew then that they were doomed, trapped within a realm of madness from which there was no escape. And at the heart of this horror, Captain Orion Blackwood stood triumphant, his eyes blazing with an otherworldly energy as he communed with the very essence of darkness itself. This Maelstrom's Fury had become a portal to another world, one where reality was but a mere suggestion, and it would be there forever, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurked beyond the veil. For in the end, it was not the ship itself that was cursed, but the very minds of those who dared to sail upon its decks.